Now them big ships fly to 1,000 suns, pushing the speed of light. And they need good men for the deep space runs, pushing the speed of light. And the pay is good and you're young and strong, and you tell yourself that it won't be long, so you climb on board. You hear the drive's deep song, pushing the speed of light. Pushing the speed of light. Now it's 4 months out and it's 4 months back when you're pushing the speed of light. But that's 20 years on your homeworld's tack, pushing the speed of light. And your friends are gone and your lovers too, and there's no one left gives a damn for you, and you try to lie, but you know it's true. Pushing the speed of light. Pushing the speed of light. So you climb back on for another run of pushing the speed of light. And you tell yourself that your pushing's done, pushing the speed of light. But that one run turns into 4 or 5, and there's nothing left keeping you alive but the humming sound of that starship's drive. Pushing the speed of light. Ha! Pushing the speed of light.
I couldn't stay away. I'm back. Couple things I'm thinking about. First, I sent the first edited version of the diary to Chris. He will either post it or he won't. If he is going to post it, I haven't seen the response. If there's comments that are telling me, hey, I'm doing things wrong, I haven't seen those yet. But I have been thinking long and hard about whether I want to continue, because I think we might have some saving graces that will save me and might put us back on track. Let's get into it. Okay, let me explain what's going on. Anne Beckman, she has been a hero 3 times in this debacle we've been rolling through. She died on Matchstick. She was eaten by the venomous vine beast, or the astral thicket, or whatever you call that creature. And she's dead, and I'm very sad about this. Her death almost broke me. If you watch the last video, she was the only one who was there through the entire situation. She saved me from damnation, I think 3 times in that string of missions, and she's dead. But she's an engineering lead. She died. She's my second dead engineer. I get 3 extra power for my next, that's this game. And I only get this 3 power for this one game. That 3 power, I think, is enough to dig us out of this hole. I'm going to justify this as she has made an orbital or an interstellar transfer maneuver. She designed a brilliant maneuver, and we have to take it now, or the window closes. So even in death, she's going to save our crew. This is something. This is great, right? That means we're going into this session with 6 power, and even if we have to burn a bunch in order to not lose morale from situations, I think we'll have enough to get to Iota Pegasi. What's Iota Pegasi? This is my current objective in the game. From eons past. Find builders, steelies on Brimstone, Matchstick, Everstorm, or Atropos in the Iota Pegasi system. I have been to all these planets except for Atropos. For some reason, when I looked at this objective card, every time I started the game, I didn't notice Atropos at the bottom here. Maybe it's because it says or Atropos. I don't know. But I got super hyper-focused on Brimstone, Matchstroke, Everstorm. I didn't even consider Atropos. But that's not entirely my fault. If you look at sort of the layout of the book, you start in this system, and you go to Toy 2, which is this thing. And you have 3 options. One of them is back to where you started. And I went to New SETI, which is this page. And I fully explored this stuff. And then, hey, where can you go? You can go to GIF 4 or Toy 2. Well, I went to GIF 4, which was over here, which was Everstorm, right? And then I ran into a dead end, because you can't go anywhere from this system, where Everstorm and the space termites almost killed me. Also, I forgot to mention the space termites in my It's not important. That planet was terrible. Anyway, yeah, so I got to this sort of dead end, and I didn't know where to go. I couldn't go forward. Both of these other locations, 81 INF and MP 212, they both require upgrades that I don't have. I had to backtrack. I went back to New City, and when I was in this system, I couldn't go anywhere else because I ran out of power. And so that's why I landed on Matchstick a second time. And then where do I go from here? Well, I guess I have to go back to GIF, or to Toy 2. So I went back to Toy 2, but I couldn't land on Pellicid again. And that's when I noticed INF. And so then I made the journey to INF, and I went to Brimstone. And by the time I was here, I had gone to so many planets. I was hyper-focused on Matchstick. I didn't even think about Iota Pegasi. And by the time I realized that I could go to Iota Pegasi, I did not have enough power to do so, which meant I've backtracked all the way back to Matchstick again. I got tunnel vision. I got blinkered, right? Like a horse wearing blinkers. You know what blinkers are? They're those things you put on the side of a horse's face so he can't see behind or beside him, and so he can only focus on what's ahead of him. Makes him run really fast, but you can't see where he's going without a rider. This was me last time. I got blinkered. I was focused on Matchstick. I was focused on fighting the robot. I was focused on that vault. And so I forgot about Iota Pegasi. Now that someone has died, that has given me extra power for this round, I have 6 power. I think I can get to Iota Pegasi, right? I'm really far away. I'm in orbit around Matchstick, New Forseti. So I'm going to need to do a couple jumps in order to get to Iota Pegasi, but I should have the power for it. I hope you're seeing it, because I'm seeing it as well. I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So, in order to get to Iota Pegasi from here, we need to go to Toy 2. Boom. That's cost 1 power. Then we need to go to INF. Boom. That's 2 power. And then we need 3 power if we leave from Iota Pegasi. That's a tough, tall order. This bridge upgrade, which reduces the travel to any outbound system by 1 to a minimum of 1. So it's only going to actually cost us 2 power to travel to Iota Pegasi from INF. So 2 power to get to INF, 2 power to leave from Iota Pegasi, but that's 4 power, and we only start the game with 3. That's where Anne Beckman comes in, and her 3 power this turn. But yeah, so there is one other thing we need to talk about. I got entirely tunnel visioned on Matchstick. I kept going back there to fight the robot to get to the vault, thinking that there was something there that I could discover. Now, I've been using the ISS Vanguard app to run, because if you play this game, there's this big book, and you go through and you read log entries in that book, and sometimes you check stuff off, or it tells you to make notes and things like that. Instead of using the book, you can use the app, and the app's all voice acted, and it plays good theme music, and it keeps track of everything for you, and I've been using the app instead of the book. The problem with the app, and it's a lovely app, but the problem with the app is you can't use it as a reference in the same way that you could use the logbook as a reference, right? Like, you can backtrack your steps using the logbook, but you can't sort of see everything you've done or all the logs you've read in the app. And so I had to make another account on the app, and I grabbed the logbook, and I worked back through all the logs that I have read. I just walked through my entire campaign off camera to go through all the logs to see if I've missed something, right? Maybe I'm going off of bad information here, right? In the audio log, if you leave Matchstick and there is a giant robot there is this really awesome sort of voice-acted dialogue of people escaping from Matchstick and talking about the robot, and it's really great. And while that audio log is going on, this little text box pops up, says, you don't need to come back to Matchstick ever again, right? You're done with this planet. You can land again if you want, but you don't have to. When I'm playing this game, I put in an earbud, and I do all of because I'm playing alone, right? And there's lots of bookkeeping to do in this game. You got to shuffle cards around. You got to move dice around. You got to set up decks for all the characters. You got to clean up the board for the planet. When I'm playing this game, I'm doing all of that stuff, and I'm listening to the audio logs, and I'm not staring at the screen. And I missed that text pop up that says, "Hey, you don't need to come back here," because the audio log finished, and then it just goes back to the main page on the app. And I never noticed that. Or if I noticed that, it didn't register, right? Because I then immediately left Matchstick and forgot that I could go to Iota Pegasi, which brought me back to Matchstick in the end. Every other planet I've gone to, when I went to Everstorm, the game told me to throw out the card for Everstorm, put it in the little compartment where you put stuff that you're done with for the game. When I went to Pellucid, it told me to get rid of the card for Pellucid. When I went to Brimstone, it didn't tell me to do that. When I went to Matchstick, it didn't tell me to do that, even though technically I've fully explored both of those planets. Well, I'm not fully explored Matchstick. There's still the vault, and it's going to eat me alive forever that we didn't open it up, but we're not going back because we're going to Iota Pegasi. But this leaves me in a dilemma because I burned a lot of resources thinking that I wasn't done with Matchstick, and now I've discovered that I was done with Matchstick the entire time. This is a cheat, but I'm going to give myself this one cheat. I am Captain Ahab, though her giant robot was my white whale, and when I went down to Matchstick this last time, I failed the mission, even though I killed the giant robot. I'm going to pretend, right? I'm going to pretend that my mission was to kill the giant robot. I did have an objective card in the ship book saying slay the Titan, and it just said, hey, go back there and kill the giant robot. And I completed that secondary objective, but that secondary objective doesn't give you anything. It just gives you a secondary objective. I'm going to treat that secondary objective as a planetary objective. Because when you fail the planetary objective, you lose morale. But if I pretend that the campaign secondary objective of killing the Titan was the planetary objective, I can say it was a victory, and it means I can spare myself a single drop of morale, which saves me one cycle of crew quitting. And I think crew are still going to quit in this situation phase, and I still might lose the game because of it. But this is the one cheat I'm going to use, and I hope no one holds it against me. All right, we're going to have to deal with this outbreak. It's going to send what crew I have, and I think I have very few crew left. I maybe have one or two. They're gonna go blind. The only crew I have. Well, maybe I can hire crew. Oh wait, we still have this stupid food shortage. Lose 2 power and move this to the waiting envelope, or lower morale. If we lower morale, I have to discard the last crew I have in this entire game, and that will lose me the game. So I have to spend 2 power. So in order to get to Iota Pegasi, we need to spend 2 power to get to INF, and we need to spend 2 power to travel to Iota Pegasi, and we need to spend 2 power to hold off this food shortage for 1 more round. Luckily, I start with 3 power and get an additional 3 power from Ann Beckman. That's 6 power. That's just enough to get to Iota Pegasi. So the only thing here that I haven't done the math for is whether between these 2 cards, I'm going to run out of crew and lose the game before I get to that transfer window. So that's what we're going to play through this round to discover, you and me, is I had so many crew in the hospital. I think two of these people were in the hospital. Because crew have been in the hospital, they haven't been in my hand when the food shortage card has commanded me to make people quit. And it's also meaning that I have an extra card in my hand whenever we get to the step where I have to discard, right? Willow Baker and Newt Nimwan, those are names you've probably heard before in my diary series. They're the only ones I really care about. These ones are all jerks. Well, they're new recruits. They're not jerks, but you know what I mean. These 3 crew are going blind due to the outbreak. This guy with a monocle, this girl who's got the VR headset just taped to her face, and this person, I don't know why she's going blind, but she is. Beware of technology, kids. Play board games. We lose 2 power for the food shortage in order to avoid lowering morale. But we got 4 power left, so we're good. I just drew my new situations for next round. Claustrophobia is back. This is a deck of possible situations, right? It's not that big. It's maybe like 10 cards, including these 2 and those 2. Oh, so maybe like 14 cards or something. And I've shuffled this deck every time I've drawn. The consistency with which I'm drawing Claustrophobia is it's painful. But yeah, so morale is lowing next round, and there's nothing I can do to stop it unless I fix that this round. Vigilante hackers, I've never seen this. Vanguard systems have been breached, but instead of causing malfunctions, mysterious perpetrators improve the efficiency of many systems? Whoa. Oh my God. You know what this means? Do you know what this means? Is the hope building in you like it's building in me? I see a way out. I see it. It's within reach. We have arrived. The ISS Vanguard in the Iota Pegasi. Our scans reveal an artificial object in the very center of the binary stars. Something that shouldn't be there. Another construct? Unfortunately, it's covered with an anomaly that's too dangerous to approach. So it's a binary star system. There's 2 stars. Iota Pegasi. Oh, and there's something between those 2 stars. That's what I was talking about. Peculiar. Mineral-rich asteroid belt. I like that. Iota Pegasi C. There's something stuck both of those moons together. Atropos. This is a planet I've got to land on. Let's go from bottom to top. These 2 moons are welded together with enormous bridges. People have been here. Atropos, spinning magnetic field and extreme radiation of this planet make landing here extremely risky. Woof. It costs 0 to land there. Okay. Iota Pegasi B, mineral-rich asteroid belt. Rare minerals needed for Vanguard's equipment. And Iota Pegasi A, everything here is perfect. Perfect temperature, atmosphere, water. The fact that a planet more habitable than Earth doesn't even show the slightest signs of life is surprising and disconcerting. If we succeed with our mission, humanity may settle here one day. Okay, so if we spend 4 power here, we can gain a success. We spend 1 power here, we can set up a colony. We have no power left. Nothing left. So the only thing we can do is land on Atropos. There was a log entry I was supposed to listen to when we come here, so I'm going to listen to that now. Weird audio log is weird. The audio log talked about a star that had been crushed by giant spears of glass and a planet that was destroyed from orbit. But none of that is in Iota Pegasi, as far as I can tell. Maybe the app is borked? Or maybe it's talking about something that I don't understand. I tried to re-listen to the log, but it remembers that I listened to the log the first time, and it just doesn't play. The struggles of using the app instead of the book. This is peculiar. Mission type, Atropos. The scanner just is free to look at everything. Though potentially profitable, this mission won't include ground-based exploration, section dissection cards, and equipment. We're not sending an away team. Landing. Spinning magnetic field and extreme radiation. Very high lander attributes advised. Oh, what have I gotten into? Optimism continues. I probably should spend one of my command tokens to go to the barracks to hire more crew. But there's no landing, there's no away mission on Atropos. So I'm hoping that no one can get hurt and no one can die. And if that's the case, then I'm going to spend my command actions doing other stuff that I've neglected. For instance, research laboratory. Now, when you go to the research laboratory, you can work on all these research projects, and you have to pay for them in order to complete them using gathered discoveries. I have a ton of gathered discoveries. I should be able to complete a bunch of these research projects. I only have 2 crew, so I'll only be able to boost my research 1 time, but that should be okay. I had lots of different research I could have chosen. I chose Extreme Biome Survivor. We have a link to a list of different extreme worlds to visit. We must prepare. So I paid for this. It was expensive. It was the most expensive one, which is why I picked it. I thought, hey, maybe that's going to be, a bigger step forward in tech. It said, hey, add card C10 Planetside Outposts from the production folder. As far as I can tell, I don't have the card C10. It said, hey, add section C12, section tools. Yeah, no, I've got that. It said add AO9, secure containers from lander mods. Yep, I've just grabbed that. And then move this equipment. Defense system, I had that. Automated protective nanofoam, I had that. And E26 medbay, I had that. So that was all fine. And then it said move tech level 3 from bridge cards to awaiting. Tech level 3 It's going to give me 5 power? This seems bizarre because I'm still on tech level 1, so this research card has jumped me to tech level 3 from 1. I guess 2 we just never go to. Maybe that was lucky, I don't know. And I also just don't know why I'm missing planet-side outposts. I've just flipped through all of my cards to try to find it. I don't have it. So this is peculiar, but this potentially solving every problem I ever dreamed of at a stroke. That's very good. This may be very lucky. I was going to choose Research Black Knight because it was free, but I have so many of these discoveries. I didn't want to waste my 1 research action in a long time on something that was free because it gives me a bridge upgrade. But also whenever you do a research, if I did this one for free, I get to research one other one that has the same icon in the top builders. So I would have also gotten this one, which just gives me a story log. This is sort of campaign setting research, and that's why I didn't do it, even though this one was free, and it would have given me this one, which costs a tech discovery for free. Yeah, so instead I did the most expensive one, and maybe it's paid off. I'm going to have to look up what the heck that card is that I'm missing. Whoa. I've just discovered another rule that I should be abusing like crap. But I'm kind of glad that I haven't been abusing it, and I think I'm going to continue not to. I'm just going through the mission launch procedure to get to Atropos and prepare away team. If there's not enough available crew members to form the away team, each section may draw 1 crew member from recruits and place their card into a rank 1 sleeve and add this crew member to the available crew members, then check log 991 and mark the first unmarked box there. I could have been doing this to refill my crew instead of going to the barracks, right? I could have just been abusing this rule to refill my crew, which would have put me into a less dire situation than I am. I'd probably have 2, 3, maybe 4 more crew than I usually have. I'd probably have 4 more crew than I have right now. And I only have Ute Nimwan for this adventure. And I like Newt. I mean, we're not going to have to land. We just have to take the ship down. But maybe I will do this one time just to get a refresh of dudes. It feels like this is the turning point of the game. Yeah, I'm going to do it, I guess. Okay. Well, here's our random crew that we're getting due to this thing, and then I'm going to read log 991. First, for science, Tumo Veles. Yeah, he's appropriate for science. Lots of people wearing gold on this ship. You know what? They're allowed to feel fancy. They're all starving. Now, for recon. Oh. Jeremor Goblev. Golubov? Golubov. He looks evil. Maybe he's one of the hackers that have been helping me. You know what? I bet that's what these are all, you know what? In fiction, these are all the hackers that were just helping me in the situation phase. And finally, for security, Inda Rao. She looks like she's ready to secure something. Awesome. These are the rebel hackers that are helping me and now are joining the away team. Cool. The emergency crew I just drew, due to that rule I discovered, I've just read their backs. These guys are awesome, actually. This person, she and her sister signed up for the Vanguard, but her sister's sleeping pod broke and her sister's blood froze and she died on transit into space. She doesn't talk to anyone, apparently, but she's incredibly skilled, according to her card. This, Estumo Velez, his card says he's the most experienced astronaut on the Vanguard, and that he designed and tested the Space Ranger. So why he has not been coming with me on missions so far, I don't know, but he's come out of the woodwork now. The emergency procedure, indeed. And then this says he's a grumpy and aloof hacker, but everyone loves him because he's a softie down deep inside. I think this guy is the vigilante hacker that just helped me out this round. Things are looking uppies for Zackies. I'm listening to the audio log for landing on Atropos. Here's the situation. We're landing. We've detected a force field. There's a gap in the force field, and the Space Ranger is making a run for it. And then they said, oh, they're detecting energy, and something is responding to them. And do they abort the landing, or do they land? I don't know. Here's the thing. If I don't abort the landing and it kills Nim 1 and all the emergency crew I just got, the most experienced astronaut. But if I abort the landing and I get lower morale because of it, then I lose the game right now. I think. Oh man. We have to go. We have to land. Or we have to retreat and just hope it doesn't give us a lowered morale situation. What do I do? We've been through some things. You were on my first real landing after the tutorial. You're level 2. What would you do? Let's read the back of your card. He was a member of the Royal Thai Army Special Forces, but decided to quit his job and applied for the Vanguard project. His experience was much appreciated, but he had much more to learn before he could be accepted. That doesn't help me. It doesn't tell me whether you're a risk taker, Ute. You're in command of this mission with the Mute and the greatest astronaut on... We've got the greatest astronaut in the entire Vanguard crew. Oh, and we have the kind-hearted hacker. We're going, Ute. We're landing despite this force field. God, okay. So what's going on is, as soon as I said, yes, no, I'm landing, it said, okay, all your crew and your lander could die here. And I was like, oh great. It had me start the landing procedure back here, and I've been moving through it. I've gotten 2 damage on the ship so far. I've rolled 2 blank dice, 2 blank sides of this dice, which is incredibly lucky. I think only one side is blank. It says if I get a 3rd damage, the ship is exploded. I have 1 more dice roll to go. And I was probably a fool. I brought a nav console, which is increasing my navigation to 3. I could have brought structural or movement upgrade that would have brought my one of those to 4. But on the other hand, I've also rolled 2 of these. And because I have good navigation, that hasn't hurt me too much. I'm going to make the last roll and go to the app and see what happens. We're going to go find out what this means. They are all dead. Oh my god. That thing on the oh my god. All right. It asked me to roll the danger dice 7 times minus my maneuverability score. So 5 times. And for every one of these, I had to add one of these tokens, 1 damage token to the lander. I rolled this 4 times. Didn't get a damage token. And on the last one, I rolled one of these stupid things. And then it said, great, everyone exploded. Ute Nim 1. And all my greatest astronaut. They just exploded in the atmosphere. Now it's telling me I go to the mission failed rules, which means morale is going to lower. Fun. I think this might be the end of the campaign right here. Okay. So that counts as a mission failure, which means morale lowers. All 4 of these dudes die. They're going to go into the memorial wall. Here's the situation. Most things in this game, you'll get, let's say, a new bridge upgrade. It'll go into this awaiting bag, and it would await until you get to the phase where that's applicable. The question here is, do I wait? And I'm in the docking phase right now. And it says lower morale. Morale is on the bridge card, in the bridge phase, which is the first phase of this game. The question here is in interpretation. Do I wait until I get back to the bridge phase to lower morale? If I do, then these guys are going to get entered into memorial sleeves, and crew that are currently in the hospital at light wounds will come out. 2 or 3 more crew. Those extra crew plus the crew that are in my resting folder might be enough for me to survive this low morale situation. It might not be. It just might not be. But that's my only hope. Because right now, let's see. Oh, wait. Okay. So low morale, I'm going to lose a dice. And I'm going to have to discard. All these crew are going to have to quit. One from each section. I've got 2 people from security, 1 recon, and 1 engineering. So one of these security, 1 recon or engineering are going to have to quit. I have no one from engineering, no one from science. I think because all my science people are in the hospital right now. So these 3 are going to quit right now due to low morale. I get to keep Willow Baker, which means I don't lose the game. And then some people are going to come out of the hospital. So we'll have some crew going into the next session. All right, good. It's not a loss yet. We're on the ragged edge, though. And here's the thing. I'm going to empty out the whole hospital right now. There's going to be no one in there. So we can't rely on the hospital people to save us in the future. I was so optimistic like an hour and a half ago. I was so optimistic. I thought I reviewed the game tape, right? I'd gone down into the dugout. I talked to the people. We went over everybody's batting practices, right? We slowed down the tape. We looked at our receiver. We said, hey, you got to run a route 2 instead of a route 1. We're going to Iota Pegasi. We're forgetting about Matchstick Forever. Everyone just exploded in my lander trying to land on this planet. And here's the trap. Like, I think I would have had to lower morale anyway, because leaving the planet probably would have been the same kind. I probably would have lowered morale for retreating from Atropos. Here's the situation I'm in all of a sudden. I don't want to go to Matchstick. I don't want to go back to Brimstone because there's nothing there for me. I can't go to Pellucid. I can't go to Everstorm. I can land on Atropos, and there's probably some awesome campaign expanding stuff there. And I'm going to have to attempt the landing again next round. But I'm stuck again. Now I'm above Atropos, and I just have to keep landing there. And people keep having to explode on their way down to the planet until the end of time. I think my only hope here is I'm going to have to, because there's other planets in the Iota Pegasi system. I can't land on any of them. So I'm just going to have to explore them with the extra power I've got, because I just upgraded my power system. So I should be able to land and explore a bunch of these planets, and hopefully one of them or 2 of them help me out in some way. Maybe give me a hint of somewhere else to go. But we're just going to try this landing again. I'm going to film this whole landing next time so you guys can see it. I might need to just spend my entire next round preparing a lander for it. I guess maybe I have a research or a production project that would give me a better lander or better equipment to attach to the lander. I was saying in the Diaries last time, hey, I hope this thing where I'm stuck and the game has trapped me in a situation where I can do nothing, I hope that was a fluke. It's not feeling like a fluke anymore. I do hey, outside of this game, I like playing Kerbal Space Program, which is, you go on endless space missions and you plot burn trajectories, and you figure out you calculate your delta V, and you build the right size rocket ship, and you do orbital transfers and coupling in space to refuel, and it's a complicated game, and a lot of the time it ends with explosion and disaster, but that's part of the fun, right? And I like the fact that this is a game about being astronauts, and we're dealing with Apollo 13-esque situations, right? I'm putting my problem-solving skills to the test almost every game, and I enjoy that. I think what I don't enjoy is just... And, I like how characters can die, right? This isn't a bad thing. I like playing XCOM, right? I like when characters can die. I like getting attached to characters, and I like when those characters die, because getting attached to them feels valuable and meaningful, right? And I like all these characters. I just wish they lasted a little longer, right? I'm not dead yet. I can dance and I can sing. I'm not dead yet. I can do the Highland Fling. Na, 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 na. We're not done. We're going to push forward. I'm going to play this game until this game tells me I've lost. Yeah, let's go and have some funerals, I guess. It is Newt. This man was there on my first mission. And he got out. He got injured, I think, but he got out. And I sent him on another mission. He got injured. He's been in the hospital. He just came out of the hospital, right? This trooper, this guy has been with me through thick and thin. She lost her sister, and I just sent her to explode on a planet. This guy, he's the vigilante hacker, and he's got a heart of gold. According to his card, he's my best astronaut. I killed him. And maybe I should have run. Maybe I should have not. No, like, there's no knowing now, right? Maybe if I retreated, it wouldn't give me a lower morale penalty. But I don't know. I'm running out of room in the memorial wall. Some good things are going to come out of this, though, right? I think like this is the comeback mechanic, right? You go into these slots and they give you some things. But I'm now almost completely out of slots. So, comeback is going to end soon. In the Rao, went to the Security Memorial 2. I got to remove all situations. That means food shortage is gone. I don't need to worry about food shortage, even though it can't be resolved normally. Knowing my luck, I'll draw it again, but that's pretty good. Utenim 1, my third engineer. Man, engineers have been royally important in this game. And Beckman and Utenim 1. I'm so sad to see you go. I got an extra command for next game, so we'll be able to do more ship actions. These both went into just agnostic, section agnostic places. Another command token, so I'll be able to do a lot of ship management. And each section gets one section die. I just lost a die for losing morale, so I'm going to stay. I'm hovering at 5 dice, which is exactly how much you start the game with. What are we, 8 games into this? And I've not done anything but kill people. It's rough. We're back. It's later in the same day. I was going to play a second game earlier, but my motivation was drained by a certain disastrous landing sequence. I've been thinking about what I'm thinking about this game. I like the ship management. I like the crew can die. I like that you can fail missions. I like landing on the planets. I like the story. I like the cards. I think the art in this game is great. I love plotting my course around. I love problem solving, but I'm not enjoying the results of all of these things bouncing off each other. And I think the reason is the puzzle of this game. When it comes down to when it really matters, it's just random dice stuff. And there's dice mitigation, right? When you're on the planet, you have a deck of cards, and the higher the rank of your character, the more dice mitigation you have, right? When you're on the planet, the more dice you have, the more free you can be when you're rolling your dice. You can mitigate the chances of loss. When you have more crew, right? Less crew, you have less dice mitigation. You have more crew, you have more dice mitigation. You bring more items down to the planet. More dice mitigation. You bring the right equipment for the right mission that you're going on. More dice mitigation. You bring the right spaceship down to the planet. It'll have the right stats for the planet you're going to. More dice mitigation, right? More controls on the randomness of the situation. But ultimately, what happens when you land on the planet, you have no control over. You're just going to roll a bunch of dice, and you could explode, which is sort of what happened in the last session. And when you start losing your dice. You start losing your high-ranked people. You start losing cards. You don't have time to research better upgrades to your landing spaceship so they have bad base stats. And you end up in the situation that I am right now, where no matter how much planning I do, so much of this game comes down to luck. And because of the failures I've had so far, I've lost all of the tools, right? All the tools I had to mitigate fate, to control chance, have boiled away into nothing, into vapor. So we're going one more time. I had a huge number of crew died. 4 crew just died in that exploding lander. They all went into sleeves in the memorial, which means they all gave me a little bonus for this next mission, right? They all gave me an Anne Beckman-esque boost, right? Discarded all my situations. For the first time in forever, I'm situation free. Got a little bit of extra command. Got a little bit more extra command. Very good. Yeah. So here's, I keep saying this. I keep feeling, because I keep feeling it, right? I keep feeling like we have achieved safety, or we've seen the path forward. We've seen the light at the end of the tunnel. And then fate just crushes that tunnel, puts out the light. And then a little gremlin comes out of the darkness and kicks me in the nuts. And it's been brutal to be captain of this spaceship. But we're going back. We're going back in. There she is. My only crew member left. Willow Baker. She wanted to go to space to make a family. And I think she has witnessed the death of so many people. And so many people quitting. There's dissent. There's disaster on this ship. Willow, do you regret your decision to go to space? Or is this what you signed up for? You know what the look you're giving me is? That's the look of someone who says, follow me. You're looking at me over your shoulder. You're saying, I'm going to continue. Are you going to continue, Zach? And you know what? I am going to continue, Willow. Stick close to me and you'll be fine. Cunning and caring. That is the look you're giving me, isn't it? Stick close with me. I'm going to stick close with you, Willow. We go into this. Guns a-blazing. We go into the future, into the unknown. Let's hire some new crew. We got the command tokens for it. Let's do some research. Let's do some production. And let's land this goddamn ship on Atropos. Wait, I forgot. These people all just came out of the infirmary. So we're not out of people. Okay. This is the most powerful I've ever felt in a bridge step. No active situations. We have 5 power to play with because of our new tech level card, tech level 3. We've got 4 command tokens, which is, I usually only have 2. We're going to be able to do twice as much as I usually can. Let's see what situation I'm going to have to deal with next session. Provocation and a cult. You know, as long as it's not a food issue and I can deal with both of these. Cool. Let's put this back. All right. So we're in Iota Pegasi. Situation is interesting. We're going to obviously try to land on this planet again. Can we go anywhere else? Let's not make the same mistake. Can we go anywhere else? We can go to MP212 if we have bridge upgrade 01. So no, we can't go there. And we can go to 51 Arterius, but we need bridge upgrade 02. We don't have that. So we're not going to either of those planets. We're not going to go back to Matchstick because we've made this mistake before. We'll get stuck. We're in Iota Pegasi. Let's see. So we're going to try to land on Iota Pegasi C. Iota Atropos again. We can go set up a colony. But we don't have objective 06. We're still on objective 02. The first objective in the game. So we can't go set up a colony. Iota Pegasi B, mineral-rich asteroid belt. We could go there for 3. All right. Well, if we went there for 3, that would leave us with 2 power left. And we could go to Iota Pegasi C1. These moons are welded together with enormous bridges. So we'll do that. We'll do both of those, and then we'll plan a landing for Atropos. So we landed on those 2 places, the place with the giant bridges, and we went and explored the asteroid belt. We got a discovery in the asteroid belt, and the report said they're unsafe to mine, but we got a mineral discovery out of it, so that's nice. And then we also landed on... there's 2 moons that are connected together by mysterious technological alien bridges. We have, according to the away team, no idea why the moons are connected. Doesn't seem like it was a transportation system. This isn't like a orbital sky elevator. It was maybe just for aesthetics, which is peculiar. And then it gave me the option to spend a command token. Command tokens are valuable resources, and I kind of want to do lots of shipboard actions, but sure, we'll burn one, and we'll explore the city. And it just gave us a new fancy piece of equipment. The mobile containment system, which lets me burn dice, which I don't really have enough of that right now in order to get extra leads for discovery. So if my goal going down to a planet was to get discoveries, perhaps to fund research or whatever, this card might be quite good. But I'm not in that position where I can sacrifice resources in order to get discoveries. I have tons of discoveries. What I don't have is, I guess, direction, right? I need to do something that's going to give me a new objective at this point in this game, because I've had the same objective: explore these 4 planets for 8 games now, and I keep landing on them and keep getting wrecked for my trouble. I'm going to go to the barracks. Gotcha. And we're going to hire new crew, because and God knows we've had attrition issues. Here are the crew that I've just hired. Manish Jain looks kind of evil. He's doing some kind of magic. He's careful. He's good at fighting stuff. I mean, he looks like he's good at fighting stuff. He's like a space warlock. It is said Manish escaped a death sentence to serve aboard the Vanguard. Well, all right, we're down to the criminals. For what? None can say. And Manish isn't exactly forthcoming with that info. Despite the mystery foreshadowing his every move, Manish has proved himself on several missions, brandishing unique abilities and uncanny awareness. Manish, a terrifying person. We're doing a heel turn in our story now. We're down to the worst of the worst. Vedazi Capelloni. He's a friendly, energetic-looking fellow. Vedazi accrued some horrible debts back on Earth. Collector has harassed his family for years and even started sending him death threats. Vedaz decided to join Vanguard to pay off those debts, as the job paid well. We didn't know if his family is safe, but he hopes so, as he performs dangerous repairs to the Vanguard's hull. Okay. Dubious criminal. Guy deep in debt and willing to sacrifice his life and livelihood to pay it off. Then if this guy evil, I don't know who is. Got a little toothpick in his mouth, scarred, living in shadow. Clutching that gun like it's, I don't know, he's unbreakable. An enigma to many, themselves included, Charlie boasts a myriad of skills. Everything, from tracking, field medicine, and sharpshooting. Their past is shrouded in mystery, wrapped in a classified firewall, redacted again and again to conceal some distant truth. Their only personal possession is a strange metal Charlie seems to cherish deeply. Try as they could, other crew members could not find anything about this distinction in any publicly available network. My best astronaut's gone, but hey, we have the dark Vanguard crew are coming out of the woodwork. Tarif Zogby. Forecast, so I guess he's a weatherman? He can use a computer. Tarif was a brilliant tech entrepreneur who made a fortune building up several startups. Despite his good intentions in releasing many of his works to the public domain, the press often accused him of contributing to social stratification. Tarif wanted to escape these scandals, and there wasn't a better direction than deep space. For a person of his talents, passing all tests was just a formality. He's got a lot of tattoos for a businessman that started a bunch of... He does not look like a businessman. I'll say, he looks like this guy. You know what he's done? He's doctored his records. This is some sort of horrifying biker cultist criminal. He looks like Thomas Zane from the Batman universe. He's giving me Riddick vibes. No, yeah, this guy lied on his application form, right? Someone who doesn't know anything about pop culture read it and said, oh, he's an entrepreneur. Didn't look at his photo, right? Didn't ask enough questions. And now we have this hard-boiled biker criminal cult man pretending to be an entrepreneur on the Vanguard. And he's joined this villain turn that we're facing right now. And this guy, he's got some interesting looks. Terry Isaac. He's a little weaselly. I mean, if he was a gangster, he'd be Terry Isaac the Weasel. Insight? Yeah, he knows when to squeal. I mean, his coat doesn't quite look like it fits. What's going on here? It's a very strange choice to put like a little bit that rides up on your cheek. Like, I can't imagine that'd be very comfortable. A political animal through and through, for decades Terry helped drum up financial and political support for the Vanguard initiative. When ISS Vanguard became a reality, he believed his mission was over. Despite his age, Vanguard Initiative decided that his legendary diplomatic skills may be of use should the mission run across other intelligent species. Nepo baby. He bought his way onto the Vanguard. He lied his way on. He murdered his way on. He ran out of money and had to come, and this man's a wizard. Okay, I kind of like the Dark Squad. Okay, one of these does not belong because I can only hire 4. You drop 5, you hire 4. I think we get rid of Nepo Baby, right? The guy who paid his way, like, oh, I didn't expect to get onto the like, this guy's all like, oh, I didn't expect to get on the Vanguard. I only paid for so much of it, and basically I'm friends with everyone who's in charge of it. I'm not expecting I'm going to get hired. I'm too old. What? What? You want me to come and be on the Vanguard? I'll expect it. I'll have to think about this. Yes, I'm coming. Of course, this man bought his way on, right? His diplomatic. You know what diplomacy means? He's good at manipulating people, right? Don't trust what the back of this guy's card says. This is my team, right? I'm going to call them the Sour Grapes, and they're going down to this planet. Well, oh man, maybe they don't go down. I just remembered. We're above Atropos. Atropos, it's a death trap landing sequence that's going to kill everyone on it. So if I have less than, I don't want to go down with all 4 crew. I want 1 person on this ship, 1 person only. And am I going to send these evil dudes down there? No. Am I going to send poor Vislov? He's got a family. He's just trying to pay off his bills. Too many Netflix subscriptions. He didn't realize he had a different subscription on every one of his smart TVs, and he woke up one day and bam, $40,000 in debt, had to go to space to save the universe. No. So you know what? As much as I like this guy, I'm sending him back into the main bulk of the crew. I can't lose him. He's fixing the ship's hull. We will hire this little weasel, and we're going to put him on the landing ship all by himself. Just a one-man lander. Look at that. Diplomate your way out of that one. Things progressed a bit. I've been doing research in my research lab. I just researched the Black Knight, which was a probe I found, I think on Brimstone. I don't remember exactly where I got this. But it allows, basically what the result was we got the way to call back home to Earth. And they told us, you can't come home. You have to keep exploring until you learn everything about the universe. And we're like, what? And so there was a long log about how all my crew got to call home, and they were all crying and weeping because they realized they'll never be able to see them again. Because, you know what? When I was out here thinking that I was in charge and I was driving us to go and find all this stuff, and like it was our noble quest to discover, I was all for it. But now that I have like middle management telling me I can never go home, I suddenly don't want to be out here anymore. I think that's part of the magic of like Star Trek, right? In Star Trek, they live in this post-scarcity future where, you know, you don't have to have a job. There's no such thing as money. And if you have a job, it's because you're doing something you love, right? All the people on Star Trek, they're exploring the galaxy not because they need to put money in their bank accounts or pay off their student debt or buy a house. They could go live in absolute luxury forever on Earth. They're going out to explore the galaxy because they're chasing after ineffable virtues, right? They're chasing discovery for discovery's sake. And that's sort of what makes the people in Star Trek shows noble. And I was thinking I was like them. Everyone on this crew was risking our lives to learn about the universe and about ourselves. But no, now I see we're exploring the universe because our bosses tell us to. I mean, at the end of the audio log, it also said, hey, it looks like Earth might be exploding, just like those last 2 planets because we've been going to planets, and I don't know if I've made this clear, but like on Pellicid, it had exploded from the inside. I thought it had been bombarded for a while by giant crystals, but I see now it had exploded from the inside with crystals, as some sort of like doomsday device planted in the core of the planet. And we found similar doomsday sort of devices on other planets we've been exploring that our biological star map has led us to. And get down here. Get down. All right. Yeah, we found similar doomsday devices elsewhere. Get down a little farther. Yeah, we found similar doomsday devices elsewhere, but there's one on Earth now. And that's why we can't go home, is because they desperately need us to figure out how to turn it off or to get everybody somewhere else to safety, right? What I'm currently thinking, theory time with Zach. I think there was one race of aliens that have seeded life throughout the galaxy. They've basically created species like humanity on a bunch of different planets. And in all of those species, they've hidden a map, a space map, that leads them back to their creators. And I think there is a second species that doesn't like that first species, and this species is hunting down all of the human-like civilizations that this species has made. We'll call these the Builders. We'll call these the Breakers. The game has told me these are called the Builders. I'm gonna guess these are called the Breakers. That makes sense. And so I think we, the crew of the ISS Vanguard, I think humanity, we're stuck in the middle, right? This kind of reminds me of Warhammer 40k. In Warhammer 40k, there's a race called the Old Ones, and they got into a war that they couldn't win. And the Old Ones were not sort of biologically suited for fighting wars. They were big, like, fat toad people that didn't move around much. And so they created a bunch of other species to basically be their soldiers and fighters and things like that. And the Old Ones got wiped out, but all of the horrifying species that they had created to fight their intergalactic war survived. And so one of the reasons why the Warhammer universe is so awful to live in, and there's war everywhere, is because every living thing in the galaxy was either a biological weapon designed by the Old Ones, or it evolved in a galaxy where it had to compete with biological weapons designed by the Old Ones. And so everything in the galaxy is militarized on like a biological cellular level, right? And I'm thinking we're kind of walking into that same situation in ISS Vanguard. I don't want to assume that the Builders, the people who made humanity, were the good guys, and the people who are fighting the Builders are the bad guys. Humanity might be the nuclear option, right? We might be the aliens designed to destroy the galaxy, right? Even though the people who made us, the Builders, might be gone, they might have been destroyed by the Breakers. Our march across the stars might be the doom toll, the siren of destruction for all other living things. Who knows? Or we might be innocent bystanders in this whole situation. I don't know. I'm liking the story of this quite a bit. We're about to do the mission launch procedure. First, I'm picking my crew. I've got to pick at least 2 crew if I can. Terry Isaac, he asked for it, so he's going. I was thinking of sending Valia Nakiova, but she is level 2. It would be a shame to kill someone I have to be hopeful. This is going to be a successful mission, but I have multiple security crew, and I don't have multiple other crew, and we're not sending Willow Baker. Willow Baker is a deer. No, yeah, it's got to be Valia Nakiova, Novikova, Terry Isaac, and Valia Nakiova. Prepare the away team, yes. Return any remaining crew members and players' hands to the resting crew. Okay, all these big baddies, they go back to the resting crew. We're about to land on Atropos. I've chosen a thruster upgrade. So we have technically 4 thruster, 1 sensor, 2 structure. And I'm going to try to share with you this time the entire landing procedure, unlike last time. I'm going to have to sort of switch back and forth between recording and the video because I have to listen to the stuff on the phone that I'm recording with. I'll begin. I'll see you in a sec. Okay. I've got to get this token from this far side all the way to successful landing. Usually it just starts at the S, but because I don't have 5 structure and 5 maneuverability, I have to move it back to the far end of this thing. I cannot imagine what kind of situation we would need to have that much, but it is what it is. Here's the first roll. 3 spikes. Okay. 3 spikes apparently means there's horrible turbulence and everybody on board has to roll some injury dice. So, beginning with Terry Isaac. 3 yellow injury dice. He lives. Valia Nakiova. She's dead. And just like that, boys, this is what I'm talking about, right? You can plan as much as you can as possible. But like, you're going to end up in this situation where just random chance breaks you. But no, well, Terry Isaac, she watched Valia get liquidated in her seat. Too many G-forces. Let's go again. One little thing. Okay, that means we have to try to maneuver, and we need at least 3 maneuverability. Or sorry, detection. We need at least 3 detection to be able to avoid hitting parts of the force field we're trying to slip through. Because we only have 1, the thrusters aren't doing anything for us right now. I have to take 2 damage. If we take 3 damage, we lose. Yep, here we are. I do have the option to retreat. And if I was going to do it, now would be the time. If I get 1 more damage, I die. I need to complete at least 3 more landing attempt rolls. I don't think this ship is good enough, but I didn't have the option. I just went to the production facility. I just went to the science facility. I don't have the option to make a better ship. I don't have an option to make better lander mods. I think this is as good as I can get, and I guess we'll see. I mean, I could retreat. I mean, I could get lucky. I could roll blank. I could get unlucky and roll literally anything else. Well, one of these has to be reduced by... One of the options on this chart has to be reduced by the good thrusters I picked, right? Do I try again? I feel like if I roll this dice again, I'm just killing Terry. I wanted to kill Terry this whole time, but he might live. We have to leave this planet. We have to retreat. There's no hope here. I'm going to retreat. I'm upset. I aborted the landing. I chose the abort option, and it just said, hey, the actual text of the audio log was, no, yes, we'd need a lander at least 3 times as good as this. How does the log know how good my lander is? It doesn't. So I have to assume that there's a lander that's 3 times better than this that will show up at some point and make this trivial. But the other thing it said in the ending log was, don't count this as a failure. We learned a lot. So I could have not gone ahead with the landing the first time. I could have retreated, and I could have saved all those poor people who died the last time. You live or you learn. Captaining is tough, especially when you aren't given all the information, and you can't plan for situations. Like, I think NASA doesn't carry out an mission unless it's got a 99% chance of success. I think it's even better than that. I think they bring it right to 99.9% of success, right? At least as far as they can measure it, because they know that there's some unquantifiable, unmeasurable variables that they'll never be able to solve for. And if you ever heard of what was I reading? I was reading The Martian. And there's a point where someone says, oh yeah, no, it's got a 90% chance of success. And everyone in the room in The Martian is like, what? 90%? That's terrible. And you and me, we would think, oh, that's pretty good odds. But no, to space people, they go for it will work or it will not work. Binary, right? 90% is not good enough odds. And here I am rolling 6-sided dice to find out if stuff happens, right? I would love to be able to plan this situation, right? I would love to be able to have been in space, right? And known how hard this landing was going to be and make the choice instead of having to go through the landing to find out how hard it is, right? That's not science, right? And I want to know going in that it's not going to hurt me, it's not going to count as mission failure and lower morale if I retreat, right? If that's the stakes of the situation, right? If the stakes are you can retreat, that's okay, we're fact-finding here, I need to be told that, right? I can't discover it by choosing the option, right? Because the analysis paralysis I've been having here is not, oh, do I want to risk it or not? The analysis paralysis is, I don't know what these options are that I've been given. Am I actually allowed to retreat? Is this a false option to retreat, right? Is the game going to punish me for retreating? No, it's not, apparently, this time. And I'm not going to find that out unless I choose the option first, right? I guess if I had the booklet, right? If I was using the booklet instead of the app, I'd be able to read ahead. I'd be able to cheat. I'd be able to read ahead. I'd be able to read all the logs and things like that, so I wouldn't waste my resources reading a log that doesn't give me anything, right? I'd be able to read ahead and know that, hey, I don't have to, I can retreat here. Look, I cheated, and I read ahead, and I know I can retreat here, so why not? I'm getting sassy. Oh man, this is the part that's bugging me, right? It's not the story. I love the story. It's not the crew management. I like the crew management. It's not the puzzle solving. I like the puzzles in this game. It's this situation. Like, I killed people. I killed crew, and I liked those crew, and I killed them because the game wasn't clear about what the stakes of this situation were. And now here, I've saved Terry, and I don't care about Terry. I was going to burn him alive because the game had taught me last time I tried to land on this planet that the whole game of this planet is trying not to burn people alive, but people might die anyway. Like, screw, man, I'm getting pissed. I'm getting pissed off. And here I am in space again, right? Do I go back to Matchstick? I don't want to, right? Well, that would cost me all my power. I'd land there. It'd be the same situation. I have more crew. I have more crew now, and I don't have a food shortage. So I could go there. But I don't need to go there. The game told me I don't need to land there again. So if I landed there again, it would just be to find out what's in the vault. And you know what? I would probably be in the vault and be like, hey, you get 1 experience point. Anyway, I did some research this round. And one of those researchers things says, hey, this log is going to... Wait, 1 second. So I got a reinforced ship's hull, which is going to attach to my ship. And I've got a long-range detection array, which I'm going to attach to my ship. And the long-range detection array says, hey, I'm going to have to read a log when I attach it to my ship, and it will give me a brand new primary objective, right? My current primary objective is explore Brimstone, explore Matchstick, explore Atropos, and explore Everstorm. So here I am. I knew, because I did the research, and I got that card before trying to land on Atropos. I had to commit to landing on Atropos before you can do the research step. And then in the research step, you get the ship upgrade. And the ship upgrade will give you the new primary objective at the beginning of the next round after the current landing. So, there was nothing that I could do, right? I have information, and I know my objective is no longer to land on Atropos, but that's the objective the game has been given me. And I know that the objective is going to change after this landing, but I have to attempt this landing anyway. And you know what? This landing just killed poor Valia for no flippin' reason, right? Like, if this made sense right now, I would have researched that. It would have given me a brand new objective, and I would have just immediately retreated from this planet. But I wouldn't have retreated from this planet because I didn't know retreating was fine. Because you retreat anywhere else and it takes away morale. You take away morale, you lose crew, you lose dice. And, oh man, and you know what this means? Because Atropos, this planet that I'm trying to land on, I need a lander that's at least 3 times as good as the lander I have. And the game, I assume, knows how good the lander is that I have right now. Because I mean, that's not something you enter into the app at all. So the game must know that, because it knows that at this point in the game, at this early point in the game, you only have the Space Ranger or maybe the Pelican. And the Space Ranger's got the better stats of the two. So if you only have the Space Ranger at this point in the game, then you won't be able to land there. And if you get the next lander, and they know for sure that it'll be able to land there because it's 3 times as good, that would make some sense, right? Which means that you're not even supposed to be able to land. Like, this is one of the earliest objectives in this game, right? To go to Atropos and land there. It's literally the first objective in this game is go to these 4 planets: Atropos, Matchstick, Brimstone, and Everstorm. This planet is designed. You're not allowed to go here with the starting ship. I mean, you're allowed to. It's statistically impossible to land on it. Which makes me think maybe it was statistically impossible to fight the stuff on Matchstick and I just brute forced it. I died on Everstorm. Maybe I wasn't supposed to, maybe that's not, everyone died on Everstorm. Maybe I should have been there when I was, that's secretly a late game planet that they've given you as an objective at the beginning. Maybe assuming that you would run away. The research I just researched, it's apparently, I don't know for sure yet, but the card says it's going to give me a new objective. The research I researched that is going to give me a brand new primary objective I think was one of the first researches I've got. But I've been desperate. Crew have been dying. I've needed to spend my shipboard actions replacing crew in the barracks. Situations have been crippling my entire game. I've needed to go to the situation room to solve the situations in the ship management phase. You only have 2 command tokens, so I had to go to the barracks, I had to go to the situation room like 5 times in a row. I never got to the spare breathing space to go to the research lab, and if I had gone to the research lab instead of doing one of those 2 things, I would have had to lose the game by now. Like, I'm skating by the skin of my teeth. I would have had to lose the game by now because I would have run out of crew, or the situations would have made me run out of crew, and they would have killed me by lowering my morale into a ridiculous pit. This game is not dealing with me on honest terms. If it had given me all the information necessary for me to make these choices correctly, I would be making them correctly. Or I would be able to take my lump, like take my losses as understandable results of my making bad choices. But I'm making bad choices because the game is not telling me the terms. Just tell me I'm allowed to retreat with no penalty going into it. Tell me. If I'm not supposed to be able to survive going to these starting planets, why give them to me as my only objectives, right? And like looking at it that way, hey, you're not supposed to land on Atropos until you come here with a ship 3 times as good. Maybe you're not supposed to be able to survive Matchstick unless you go there with like Arnold Schwarzenegger and the A-Team. Looking at it that way, maybe I've been doing amazing. Like I got enough success tokens. I cleared out 3 different planets. I bought all my crew up to 9 dice, which meant I had 9 dice to burn away through low morale. And now I'm down to 5 dice, which is what you start the game with. And like, I only got 9 dice because I played this game really flippin' well. And I only lost it all because the game wasn't clear about what the heck I was supposed to be doing. Next time we see what this new objective is. Earlier, in the first set of diaries, I was a little depressed and kind of exasperated. Now I'm just angry. See you next time.
This is an addendum. It has been a couple days since the first ISS Vanguard diary has hit the internet. I've been looking at some of the response, and this is sort of a response to that. Yeah, it's a response to that. Cool. First things first. I have been told that the food shortage card is a misprint, and that it's supposed to work in a different way. The food shortage card has been pretty crippling throughout my campaign so far. But I think at this point in the campaign that you've just watched, I've managed to get rid of it for now. If it comes back again, I will apply the errata rules to the food shortage card. You've probably just seen me. I'm probably going to stick this at the end of the second video, and I got very upset. That might not look particularly good on me, but I'm feeling things in this game, right? I'm feeling things because I care about the game, right? The game is hard. It's punishing. I've made it more punishing for myself. I care about these characters. I care about my own success or failure. And like, I was in a situation where things were very bad, and I was feeling things. I think I was in like the third stage of grief or whatever, anger. Yeah. But like, I reviewed the tape a bunch of times. I edited that video. I think something to know is like, if I had known I was able to retreat, I probably wouldn't have done so in that first mission. I was 1 dice roll away from succeeding that first landing, that first impossible landing. At that late juncture, I probably would have still risked it. I think the difference, though, is just not knowing that it was safe to retreat makes it hurt a little bit more retroactively. And I probably would have retreated earlier on the second attempt had I known I could. And that just feels a little bad. There are things that are coming up in this campaign, in future videos, that hit me harder with less warning than the retreat thing. but I don't get upset at them at all because, in fiction, in the universe of ISS Vanguard, you'd expect that as the captain, you would know that you would not punish yourself for retreating if you knew that that was an option on the table. But if, for example, I don't know, a bear explodes out of a thicket and rips your team apart, that's not something you as a captain would be expected to know. So terrible things are going to unexpectedly happen to me in the future, and I'm going to just roll with it. But this specific instance of not mechanically knowing what effect retreating would have on my game, really rankled with me. And there's going to be a couple other little times where I'm like, I wish the game was a little bit more clear about what the mechanical implications of some of these choices are. When you're playing like Dungeons and Dragons or a tabletop role-playing game and there's a game master, something that you always want to do, and here's a little bit of advice if you're a game master, something you always want to do is if the players say, hey, we want to kick down that door, you as the game master tell them all the mechanical, oh, you're only going to get one chance at this. Oh, this is what's going to happen on a failure. This is what's going to happen on a success. You want to be clear about those things up front because those are important for what characters' choices are making, right? And it might not change their choices at all, but it makes them understand the risks they're taking, right? You don't want to have a character go to kick a door and fail the dice, and you as the game master look at them like, all right, you break your leg in 3 places, you can't walk anymore, also you're in so much crippling pain you can't talk. That you as the game master might think, oh, that's cool, yeah, that's stakes. But as the player, you've just been incredibly punished without any warning, right? If they knew they were kicking a giant steel vault door and it was going to shatter every bone in their leg, they wouldn't have done it. And I think there's a couple moments in ISS Vanguard so far that just feel like a little bit like a sloppy game master is in charge. They're very excited about what's going on and the stakes and the story that's being told, and all of that's pretty good. But they're forgetting to fill players in on exactly what the terms of the engagements are. That's basically all I really wanted to say. Oh, no, one other thing. At least at the bottom of the first video, there was lots of people saying, Zach, you gotta restart this campaign. This is a long campaign, right? What am I? At the point you're watching this little clip, I've probably played 13 games, right? Average at least 2 hours, sometimes 4 hours. Let's even it out and say it's 3 hours each time. I mean, 10 games at 3 hours a game is like 30 hours. I've put a lot of time into this. I'm not going to restart. Why would I restart anyway? Because it's hard? I want it to be hard. Why? Because things have gone bad for me? You can't control that. You go into space on a spaceship on a hair's breadth chance that you can discover the mysteries of the universe just because some scientist says maybe there's a map in our blood, and you're going to follow that map that might just be a quirk of chance. You're going to follow that into the stars, into the dead of night. You're going to freeze all your crew. Some of your crew are going to die while they're frozen. You're going to travel for years at the edge of the speed of light. You're not going to do that expecting a do-over if things turn out to go bad. Listen, things go bad. Things are going to get worse, and I like that. The one thing I'm still on the fence of this game is whether the difficulty is well designed. It does feel like at this point in the game there are a lot of systems leaning on morale. And maybe it would have been more elegant to have more resources that could be decreased, right? If you had food and fuel and morale and a couple other things. So all these different tracks could be slowly reducing over time instead of every card reducing morale or increasing morale. It just feels like that particular mechanic is holding up a lot of the tent of ISS Vanguard at the moment, which can be frustrating and does frustrate me at times. I will also say, if I stop, some people have said you should stop using the deadly space rules I like the deadly space rules. I like them specifically because it introduces a way to fail this game, right? There's a way my campaign can end in failure. I like that. I want to have that chance. No matter how hard the mechanics of this game are, if there's no way to actually fail it, then I feel like I'd lose interest. My experience in ISS Vanguard might not be everybody's experience, but right now it makes me feel like there's like a subgenre of like historical non-fiction and historical fiction that's like about failed northern expeditions, right? Or successful northern expeditions. You know, there's a bunch of people during the Age of Sail who tried to find like a route to the Indies by traveling like across the North Pole, and they just sailed straight up there looking for the Northwest Passage. They run out of coal on their way up, and then they're freezing, and then their ship gets stuck in the ice, and then there's a mutiny, and then people kill each other, and then some people freeze to death on watch, and then they decide to trek it off the ice path because their ship isn't going to get cleared, and they bump into some natives up north, and the natives try to point them in the right direction, but the translator doesn't know what the natives are saying, and they go in the wrong direction, and then they get eaten by polar bears, and it's grim, and it's brutal, and it's tragic, and they were doomed from the start. And as sort of brutal and depressing as those stories can be, they're also really good stories. I think there's a couple great visual novels you can play on the internet about managing a failed expedition. And right now, ISS Vanguard is giving me those vibes, and I don't dislike those vibes. I like those vibes. Yeah, like sometimes the Apollo 13 gets launched into space, and someone mixes the tanks, and things go bad. And then the story is not about successfully landing on the moon. Sometimes the story is just about getting home, or sometimes the story is just about lasting as long as you can, right? Making the choices that keep you in the game as long as you can. I like that, right? If I took out the deadly space rules, there would be no chance to fail, right? You could fail 1,000 games in a row and you'd still be in the game. It doesn't feel rewarding to me. Now here's the situation I'm in, where you are watching these diaries. Just to make things clear, I'm in the middle of a cascade failure. This is ISS Vanguard is secretly a worker placement game. The whole ship management phase, it's a worker placement game. You take your workers, your cards, your handful of crew, and you can commit them to different sections of the ship to boost actions. For most of the game, I have not had crew, either because they were dead, because they were in the hospital, or because they've quit. Which means that all my worker placement phase, my ship management, has been really, really inefficient. Right? For instance, you go to the situation room, you get to solve one situation, and then you can send crew to solve other situations. With no crew, you're only solving one situation when you go to the situation phase. So I have a really inefficient worker placement phase. Then I go to planets, people die, then I come back to the surface. I could only solve one situation. The remaining situations, lower morale. When you get to a certain point in low morale, you draw extra situations. Now you're drawing tons of situations. You can only solve one in the situation phase. You go down to the planet, more people die. You come back to the surface. Now you have a ton of active situations. And no real way to deal with them. How am I going to get out of this cascade failure, you ask? What is your brilliant plan? Brute force, determination, the will to hope and dream and pray that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And listen, I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to fight for it until my fingers freeze. So I wanted to record this little video because I felt like a negative Nancy at the end of the second diary video. And I thought about cutting my rant, but I think it's real. I think it's my honest reaction to what's happening in the game. And I think it's valuable. I think it's kind of entertaining. But it left the video at a dour end. So I thought I'd cut in and just say this. I'm about to play another game of ISS Vanguard. So when you see a diary and I'm wearing this shirt, you know when I recorded this. Captain Zach out.